Welcome back to Vuln Vibes, everyone. Today we're going deep on some Laravel vulnerabilities. More specifically, we're looking at toReflected cross-site scripting, or XSS, flaws. And since we're all security pros here, no need for the XSS 101, right? We want to get into how these vulnerabilities actually, change the game.
Yeah, exactly. So these vulnerabilities, CVE-2024-13918 and CVE-2024-13919, they affect Laravel versions 11.9.0 all the way through 11.35.1. And basically, they could let attackers inject malicious code right into a user's browser.
Well, for sure. We're talking serious stuff. I mean, this is like account takeovers, data theft, that kind of thing, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, for sure. We're talking serious stuff. I mean, this is like account takeovers, data theft, that kind of thing, the whole 9 yards.
So how do these vulnerabilities actually work? Like, what's the point of attack here?
Well, it all starts with improper encoding of those request parameters. And maybe even more interesting, those route parameters right on that debug mode error page.
Okay, so route parameters, remind me, what are those again?
Sure. So route parameters are basically those variables that Laravel uses, right, to kind of figure out how your application should respond to different URLs.
Okay, I'm following. Got it. So like a user profile page, for example.
Exactly. Like a user profile page, the user ID, that could be a route parameter.
So debug mode, it seems like a helpful tool for developers, right? But it also kind of opens the door for these attacks. So is the solution to just disable it, is that a long-term fix?
Well, disabling debug mode, it's definitely a good first step, but it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a bigger problem.
Okay, I see. So what is the bigger problem? What's the root cause?
The real issue is that sensitive data is ending up in those error messages.
Right.
That's what we got to fix. And the patch in Laravel 11.36.0, that actually addresses this directly.
So paint me a picture. How would an attack actually play out?
All right, so picture this. A malicious link, right, leads to a 404 page. But it's got this crafted payload tucked away in the URL. Now, if debug mode is on, that payload, it gets reflected right back to the user's browser, and bam, successful attack.
Oh, wow. So that's how it happens. Makes sense.
Yeah, and it's happened before, too, with other frameworks, I mean. Remember, it's that struts vulnerability a few years back.
Vaguely. Refresh my memory.
Well, attackers exploited this similar encoding issue, right?
Right.
And it led to remote code execution in a ton of web applications. It was a big deal. A real wake-up call.
Right. Okay, so clearly patching is critical. But what if you can't upgrade right away? What are your options?
Yeah, it's a good question. So if you can't upgrade immediately, then you can temporarily disable that debug mode by setting APP-debug false. That can buy you some time. But remember, it's just a temporary fix, right? You got to upgrade eventually.
Right. So just to recap, we've got these two XSS vulnerabilities. They come from improper encoding in Laravel. And the consequences, well, attackers could take over accounts, they could steal data, not good. So upgrading to version 11.36.0, that's crucial. And disabling debug mode, well, that's a good temporary shield.
Exactly. It's just another reminder that open source software, it's powerful, but it needs constant vigilance, right?
Absolutely. And that kind of brings us to a bigger question. I mean, how can we as security pros really bake security into that development process right from the start? So we prevent these kinds of vulnerabilities from even reaching production. It's something to really think about. Thanks for joining us on Vuln Vibes, everyone. We'll see you next time.